folks, welcome back to Stacey Can. I am making blackberry liquor sauce today, and it is in the Ball Blue Book of Guide to Preserving Over 500 Recipes. I believe it's the 37th edition, so this is a great, as mentioned before, I do love the Ball recipe books. They're great for your library. This liquor sauce, blackberry liquor sauce, is really fantastic over pancakes or over ice cream or over yogurt, whatever kind of a topping you would like to add. You can put it over cheesecake, desserts, etc. Just probably eat it with a spoon as well. It does have liquor in it. It's got some half a cup of Chambord liqueur, and which is a raspberry liqueur. So it's not a lot. It's going to be enough to give it kind of that raspberry-y flavor, but it will cook out. So there is really basically no alcohol in this recipe, especially when you consider you also need 4 cups of blackberries, which is about 2 pounds of blackberries. And then also 3/4 of a cup of sugar. You need a tablespoon of lemon zest and also a tablespoon of lemon juice. And remember, you got to use the store-bought lemon juice just to make sure the pH is the same between lemon to lemon. And then 3 ounce, just one pouch of liquid pectin, and I'm using the Ball Liquid Pectin. The tools you're going to need: you'll definitely need your measuring spoons and a measuring cup, but you're also going to need a zester, a lemon zester, or citrus zester. If you're better at using a knife to get that off, then good for you, but that's I like to use this tool to zest lemons. You're going to need your funnel and your ladle, funnel and ladle. Big spoon. You need your jar lifter, your lid lifter. I am heating the lids today, and Headspace tool. And also, if you want to use a thermometer to make sure that the temperature is the correct temperature when you're putting the jars in, which is, as we're putting something hot in there, you want to make sure that the canner is at 180 degrees before you're putting your warm jars of liqueur sauce. I say liqueur sauce, sorry, into the jars, into the canner. It's going to be hot when we're putting it in there, so it's always a good idea to make sure that the temperature is where you need it to be, which is 180 degrees. And or if you already kind of know, if you've measured before and you know what temperature it needs to be at on your stove or on your canner, then you're much better than me, because I don't have that established. Doubt I ever, well, I may someday, but at this point I don't. Anyway, so with all of that, let's go ahead and get saucy. We picked these berries last night, and I've washed them and measured them and drained them pretty good before, and then set them in the fridge. So that, make sure you give your berries a good wash before starting. So I've gone ahead and put them in this pot here, and we're going to add our 3/4 of a cup of sugar and the 1/2 cup of the Chambord liqueur. And when you're done here, go ahead and stir this together. After you get the berries, liqueur, and sugar mixed together, go ahead and set it off to the side for 2 hours to let those flavors infuse, and then give it a stir every once in a while as you wait. So I've washed the outer rind of this lemon with a little bit of hot water too, just to get the wax off. And now I'm going to just zest it, because we need a full tablespoon. And I used almost the whole lemon. I skipped that part because it's kind of damaged there, but got myself a tablespoon of zest. I'm gonna put the lemon zest into the pot here. Now this has been setting for 2 hours, and I've been stirring it on occasion throughout that 2-hour period of time. I'm also putting in the tablespoon of bottled lemon juice. You do need that for the pH accuracy. And we're gonna get this heat up to high and give it a good stir. And once it comes to a rolling boil, we will add our liquid pectin. Now just a little reminder here, we're bringing it up to a medium-high heat, not a high heat. We don't want to scorch the bottom of the pan or scorch the sauce here. So not on super high, just medium-high. So I got a good boil going now, and I'm pouring in the liquid pectin. And once I get it all in here, we're gonna set the timer for 1 minute to boil this really hard. The timer has gone off and we do have some foam here. So this would be the part where you could skim the foam off if you want, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna go ahead and start filling up the jars. I'm taking my jars out of the canner here because we don't want to put a cold or hot thing in a cold jar. We can shock the jar, and we're gonna fill these jars to a 1/2 inch headspace. I am going to bubble. It did ask for bubbling because it is a little bit runnier. This isn't quite a jam or a jelly. It did state to do that, so I am going to run a quick little bubble around and measure out a 1/2 inch. Not quite there, and we got it. Take our paper towel. Here's the lid water. Going to clean the rim as best as we can. And use the lid, ring, and we're gonna just fingertip tight plus just like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. And then up and over into the canner. Remember, don't tilt or tip, just straight up and over and into the canner. I got the jars in the canner and I've set it up, the temperature up to high or on canner mode for the electric canner. You wanna turn the temperature up to high on your stove for this, and when it comes to a rolling boil, we'll set the timer to properly process the jars. Got a rolling boil, so I've set the timer for 10 minutes for my altitude, which is 0 to 1,000 feet. From 1,001 to 6,000 feet, it's 15 minutes, and then for these half pints. And then for 6,001 above, it's 20 minutes to process the jars. The timer's gone off, so I'm cutting the heat and turning it off, all the way off. And I'm going to carefully lift the lid off the canner. Very carefully. And I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. We're going to let these jars rest in the canner for 5 minutes. That really helps with settling the food and sealing the jars. 5 minute timer has gone off, so we're gonna get the jars out of the canner. And remember, when you take the jars out, you wanna go up and out. Don't tilt or tip the jars. It can compromise the seal. It's showing up a little bit dark on the camera here, but it's backlit. It's got a really great color. And this is how we make Blackberry Liqueur syrup. It's got a real good tart flavor to it, whereas like a blackberry jam, it's got a little more sweetness to it and tastes like a blackberry cobbler. This has got with the lemon and the lemon rind in it, it's got a little bit more of a tart punch to it. It's gonna be delicious on cheesecakes, and you can actually even drizzle it over like a pork chop or something if you want. Just a light drizzle would be a great mixture. Putting it in with to make a salad dressing or something along those lines. It's quite good, very tasty. So the recipe is down below as with all the information that I've given you with the altitude and such, as well as please like and subscribe. That does help. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback, concerns, by all means, please reach out to me. Another seal. I'm on Facebook at Stacey Can. You can at me on Instagram and TikTok at Stacey Can. My website is www.staceycancan.com, and my email is info@staceycancan.com. Thanks so much again for joining me today, and until next time, happy canning.